Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anexis. I am a blind author, content creator, and freelancer, and my pronouns are they, them. Also, welcome to February, and I hope you're having a lovely start to the month. I have been in a hiatus, but I have finally returned. I'm back from vacation, as you saw from as you've seen. I've been posting in the community post, and I've also released a video related to writing, pretty pretty recently on Wednesday. My apologies. I'm still here and there recovering from a cough. Anyway, also welcome to Valentine's Day with me, or Valentine month with me, because I have a bunch of romances I want to review. So this is the first of what was supposed to be 4 romances, but I'm adding a 5th one because these videos were supposed to come out on Sunday, but I've changed it to Friday after noting that reviews on Sundays for some reason weren't getting many views, and I'm going to try on Friday. So there will be a 5th. They were supposed to be 4, but there will be a 5th. This is the first. I hope you enjoy this one, as I am reviewing The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas, which, if you are not familiar with this author, she wrote the Spanish Love Deception, which was a Goodreads Choice Award winner. I have reviewed that there. Linked in the description below is the playlist of all the videos I've done related to the Spanish Love Deception. So if you want to see that, that will be in the description. Make sure to check that out. Before we begin, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to my channel and turning on notifications so you're aware when I release videos. Make sure to turn on all notifications. That way you get notified. YouTube is weird like that. If you would like to see more content from me, feel free to also subscribe to my blog. My website is linked in the description, and you can check out any of the writing that I do there, which includes book reviews, creative nonfiction sometimes, poetry as well, and audio description critiques when I have them. So those are there for you. And if you would like to support what I do here and my work in the future, including my writing, then you can head to Ko-fi, also in the description. You can support me there through one-time donations, or my shop, where you can find my book. You can check out my book, Daughter of Death, which is available in other retailers. However, it's also available in my shop, and that is what I have linked below. You can also hire me for services that are also listed in my Ko-fi. Thank you so much in advance if you choose to support me. And without further ado, let's get to the video. I am so excited to talk about this book. No kidding, I'm very excited to talk about this book because this is the second book by Elena Armas, and it also takes place in the this is like the second thing in like the Spanish Love Deception series. So you have the Spanish Love Deception, which was the debut, and then you have this book that I guess that technically is part of the series because it literally shows it as Spanish Love Deception #2. So I'm very excited to talk about it because I had an entirely different experience. I'm gonna link the I put it in the I haven't created a Spanish Love Deception playlist as of recording, but I do have the Elena Armas playlist. But if I create, I'll link whichever one comes up, whichever one I have at the time when I'm writing the description. But whatever the case, you will be able to see all the videos I did on this, like my first Valentine's Day in the channel, and it's fitting that we're coming back to this. Because this was kind of what started a Valentine's Day tradition, where I just review a book every Valentine's Day. Now, no, this will not fall on Valentine's Day, but it does fall on the month of it, so it's fitting that we are coming that we are reviewing it in the month of February, along with other books. This will be a different year for me. It's fitting that this will be the first in that book, in this month's reviews. So I'm actually kind of excited for that. Um, I hope that the announcement in the intro made you very excited. Uh, Especially for any romance readers in the audience. So yeah, but for now, here is let's read the synopsis and let's talk about the review of this because I'm very excited to talk about this. So, from the author of the Goodreads Choice Award winner, The Spanish Love Deception, the eagerly anticipated follow-up featuring Rosie Graham and Lucas Martin, who are forced to share a New York apartment. Rosie Graham has a problem. A few, actually. She just quit her well paid job to focus on her secret career as a romance writer. She hasn't told her family and now has terrible writer's block. Then the ceiling of her New York apartment literally crumbles on her. Luckily, she has her best friend Lena's spare key while she's out of town. But Rosie doesn't know that Lena has already lent her apartment to her cousin Lucas, who Rosie has been stalking, for lack of a better word, on Instagram for the last few months. Lucas seems intent on coming to her rescue like a Spanish knight in shining armor. I'm gonna be honest. I have not read this synopsis as far as I don't remember. I may have read the official synopsis once, but this is funny. Like a Spanish knight in shining armor. Only this one strolls around the place in a towel, has a distracting grin, and an irresistible accent. Oh, and he cooks. Lucas offers to let Rosie stay with him, at least until she can find some affordable temporary housing. And then he proposes an outrageous experiment to bring back her literary muse and meet her deadline. He'll take her on a series of experimental dates meant to jumpstart her romantic inspiration. Rosie has nothing to lose. Her silly online crush is totally under control. But Lucas's time in New York has an expiration date, and 6 weeks may not be enough for either her or her deadline. So, first of all, it's raining outside my window. And second, the concept is great, which is the one thing I don't remember if I talked about it in the review when I was reviewing oh shit, what is it? Oh, the Spanish Love Deception. But the concepts of these synopses of both the Spanish Love Deception and this one are really good. Like the concepts are good. I like the tropes. I really do, and stuff like that. I enjoy this concept. It's really fun. It's really fun to experiment with. The prose is good, which I'm not surprised. I found the prose in The Spanish Love Deception to be really good as well, so I'm not surprised that that the author continued, to just have really good prose and improve it if in any case. So I'm not too surprised about the prose being really really good. The story, I'm happy to say, is written in dual point of views. So let's compare. I know I'm going to be doing a lot of comparison to the Spanish Love Deception, but it is the only work I have by this author to compare to. I know that there's going to be a new one. They're gonna have a new book this year, and I might read it. I read a little bit of the synopsis. I'm not as interested in that one, if we're being honest. But if I can find it in my library, I'll read it, and then I'll talk about it. How about that? If I can find it in the library, I'll be happy to read it. I don't have an issue reading it if I find it in my library. But I'm not gonna like go to Bookshare and pick it up because I'm just not as interested in reading it. But the thing with the Spanish Love Deception is that we are in Catalina's head. And I mentioned in a different review, the pitfalls of writing in first person is that you're stuck in someone's head unless you're writing in dual POVs, or in multiple POVs, which you can then kind of move around, and you can have like one chapter in some point of views and another chapter in the other point of view, or you can do like just switch point of views at any point in time whenever you like. So the point is, in my experience, in my reading experience, that is kind of one of the pitfalls, right? But writing this romance in dual POVs kind of makes it a little bit better because we get to see both of them. And by the way, if you listen to the audiobook, oh, that is really good. That is a really good audiobook. The guy that narrates Lucas's point of views, I really like. But the point is, though, the story is told in dual POVs, which means that we get both of them. The issue that I had with the Spanish Love Deception being stuck in Catalina's head is that we knew nothing about Aaron, right? Aaron was kind of basically perfect boyfriend does nothing wrong kind of dude. He's like Tobias from the Savior's Champion, except that I actually don't like either one of them, so they both it's fine. But Aaron had no character development whatsoever in the Spanish Love Deception. And when things happened to him in the end, like at the end of the story, it just kind of felt tacked on. It was just like, it felt like it was just kind of like added for the drama. Like it had too much, the Spanish Love Deception as it is, had way too many things going on. And all the things that happened were sacrificed for the romance and the romantic plotline. And I don't like that. Like the one thing I hate in romance is when other plot lines are sacrificed because your book is a romance. If you want a straight up romance, in my opinion, fine, write a straight up romance. That's fine. But if you plan to use other plot lines, even if it's a romance, give each of those plot lines and each of those themes enough time to breathe on the page, and don't sacrifice them. Otherwise, in my opinion, there's no reason for them to be there. They're just there for drama and nothing else. So it becomes irritating. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on that. But I like that. I that was the thing in the Spanish Love Deception. There was too much going on. At least in this one, everything kind of fits a lot better than it did in the Spanish Love Deception. A couple of things are going on with each character, but they don't feel like they were just added in for no reason or sacrificed for the romance. They feel natural, and it feels and they feel like a part of a story, which is not something I can say about the Spanish Love Deception with everything that happened. But I can't say it about this one. So I am happy to say that we have a more cohesive book with more things happening. So that's something I can appreciate. So what else was I gonna say? Oh, the one thing I appreciate is that both characters have things going on. It's not just each other and them like falling in love. Both of the characters have stuff going on. I found the pacing to work for the story. I will say that with this does contain one of like my least favorite kind of ways to tell a story, and that is insta love. But kind kind of like in the kiss quotient, it fits much better because the characters have chemistry, so it works for that. But I will say Insta Love is not my favorite. But yeah. But the pacing fits the Insta Love kind of story. You know, it's fast, it's quick, especially when there's basically a ticking clock because Lucas only has like 6 weeks. So because there's a clock, you know, it makes sense that their relationship goes a little bit faster. But let me make a comparison again to another romance I read a couple of months ago and explain why this one works better and the other one does not. So a couple of months ago for me, and it'll be like a couple of months since the review came out as well. But a couple of months ago, I read a romance called Love the Sinner by Avril Ashton. Now, it had a great premise. It was a romantic suspense about where we saw like a cop and a gangster fall in love. And we have the meeting kind of after he shoots the cop and stuff like that. Like there's a couple of things happening. I can't remember fully the premise, but the point is that these two men fall in love and they're in separate separate points of life in a way, because one is a criminal and the other is a police officer, so they have to kind of tiptoe around and kind of like navigate this whole thing while also being together. And the thing is, they go through insta love. Like they fall in love so fast. Like eventually it's like been what, a couple of days and they're just like saying I love you, and it was hard to believe. So the reason that for me that did not work on Love the Sinner, even though this book, The American Roommate Experiment, follows a similar kind of structure, and it has a similar story with the insta love, because it's not romantic suspense with insta love. The reason that it did not work for me specifically in Love the Sinner is that these characters have no, like the guys have no chemistry in my opinion. They have no chemistry. They have no, it just feels like everything is going too fast, and we kind of mainly see them, we do see them go on dates and stuff like that here and there, but we mainly see them having sex. Like it's I should say it is romantic erotica as well. Like it is very I think it falls in the erotica category as well. It is very heavy on the sex. Every chapter or every other chapter there's a lot of sex. And I'll be honest, I said in that review I wasn't prepared for that, but I didn't mind it. But the issue I had with it is that their love just didn't feel real. It felt too contrived. In this one, the characters have a lot, and I mean a lot, of chemistry. You know, they have so much chemistry, and it feels natural for them to kind of fall for each other. They both kind of balance each other out. They have something that the other one might need. It feels so natural. Like I don't know how to explain everything, but it just feels very natural for these characters to fall for each other. They are very, it's easy for them to kind of, for them to just to fall for each other. It just makes sense because they have this chemistry, and it feels right for them. But I did not feel that chemistry in Love the Sinner, which is why it did not work for me as a as insta love. Most insta love does not work for me for this very reason. If the chemistry is there, I can believe the insta love and I can suspend my disbelief enough. But if there is no chemistry on the page, if I don't feel that chemistry, then it just doesn't work for me. But that's kind of why they it did not work for me. And why I just found it kind of annoying and the pacing too quickly. But I was okay with this pacing a little bit more because it follows it's insta love, but we see more of them, we see them do more stuff, and we see them becoming friends. We see them first becoming friends, and then as the story develops, we see them fall in love. And I'm okay with that a little bit more. I do like this system a little bit better. We see them becoming friends, and even if it's insta love, you see them first as friends, and then they fall for each other. I like that, which is actually something I just identified as something I love. Even in a Laini Taylor book, which is how Laini Taylor tends to, at least from Daughter of Smoke and Bone and like Muse of Nightmares, they were friends before they seem to fall for each other. At least I do remember that to be the case, at least in Muse of Nightmares. Oh, no, not Muse of Nightmares, I'm sorry. Strange the Dreamer. Strange the Dreamer. That's the duology that Muse of Nightmares is from. Strange the Dreamer. So that is something I like. So their dynamic is great together. Like, it's amazing. Rosie is like super, super happy, and he loves supporting her, and she also loves supporting him, and they talk to each other most of the time, and it is great. It's lovely. I like this a lot. There's a lot of improvement, I think, in keeping everything, and the character writing and the sorry. There's a lot of improvement in the character writing and putting all the plots together. It's great. I enjoyed it a lot. The other things I want to say, there's a very interesting theme in this book that I like about, it only shows up once, and it kind of is touched on a little bit, but one of the themes that is talked about is like romance writers, and also like the reading romance, how basically society, people sometimes seem to think that romance is only for bored housewives, and how people have like this very low thought of romance. And as a romance reader myself, I assure you, it takes a lot of skill to write a romance that people might like. And as someone who took a romance writing class, it really does take a lot of skill. Like, it takes you kind of knowing the formula, so you can use the formula, the tropes, the cliches, or whatever you want to use, the archetypes, so that you can then add to them. It takes a lot of formula, a lot of skill. It takes a lot of practice to take a romance concept and see how it all fits together, especially if you're writing category romance, because category romance is short. It's like 40 to 60,000 words, and it's a short book. It's what, like what is it, like the like 250 to 350 pages a book. It's a very short book. There's not a lot of space, so it takes a lot of practice to get romance compressed into something that is short and for people to read. So as an author and as a reader, yeah, that hits, right? So I get it. So I like that it was kind of talked about how people see romance and stuff like that. But also, I want to say, people may have opinions on romance, but at the end of the day, it is what keeps the publishing industry thriving, from my understanding. Like, romance keeps the lights on for publishers. So, like, you know, let's support it because we get more romance. And, you know, romance is one of those genres that while I may have my issues with it, I do think is a great genre, and I think that it can do so much. So, yeah, I like that the theme was kind of touched on. I would have loved for it um, to be something. I don't know. I like the way it was touched on. I think I would have just loved it to be a revolving conflict, but it's fine. Or not a revolving conflict, but a revolving theme or something. Or we learned more about what it was like for her to write her first romance or something in that form. Um, so yeah, their character dynamics I talked about were really good. I love the family dynamics. They're really, really amazing. I would have loved to see more family dynamics. I love family dynamics like nothing else. I would have loved to see more, but I really enjoyed it as well. And I want to talk about my favorite part of the book that involves a broad spoiler. So there's a part in the book that where Lucas is hit by a guy, and Rosie gets very angry and she is about to attack him with her purse. And he stops her, right? But later on in the book, he compare in his point of view, when we're in his point of view, he calls her an avenging angel, and then later on he calls her a warrior princess, and I found it to be great. I thought that was great. Listen, if you, I don't know about you, but I as a reader of romance and a writer of it, I personally embrace the cheesiness and cliches because they are my best friends. And that was kind of adorable. I just found it kind of cute, and I just wanted to mention it, okay? I couldn't help but mentioning it. I think it's kind of adorable, and I just wanted to talk about it. Just a smidge. I just wanted to talk about it a little because I think that deserves its own little its little mention. I'm not gonna spoil the book itself, but I think it's I did give you a pitch of that. I think in like, well, in a wrap up. Technically, you're seeing this in 2024. For me, I gave a pitch of this in a wrap up, and I took a longer time to summarize it. But like, it was just I thought this moment was kind of adorable, and it was cute. It was cute, and I just wanted to mention it. So I hope that even if you choose not to read it for anything I have said, I hope that you read the book just for this moment. I want you to read this book for this moment alone. It was adorable, and I was into it. So, my final rating. So, I rated The Spanish Love Deception 1 star when I read it in 2022. When I read it in 2022, I rated it 1 star. It was the first book of the year for me, and at the time, I was also on a holiday vacation to Dominican Republic, and I read it then, and I rated it 2 stars. I'm sorry, 1 star. It was very disappointing because I did not want to start my year out like that. However, the American Roommate Experiment, I rate 4 stars. So as you can see, in my reader opinion, there has been a lot of improvement. So I loved this one. This one was fun. This one was cute. And I would read it again. Let me know what you think in the comment section of the American Roommate Experiment. I really want to hear your thoughts. I am very excited to chat about it. If you are going to spoil like a really big thing, I know I did a broad spoiler right now, but if you're going to do a big spoiler, let everyone know in the comments, all right? Okay, hello everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Tell me, were you as surprised as I was to realize that I was going to have such a great opinion on this book? Because, I mean, it was a really good book. I know that I had my problems with the Spanish love deception, and I know that I ranted about them for I think about 30 minutes. Like, I remember it was about 2 years ago, I think, when I recorded it. Or so. 1 to 2 years ago, and I specifically remember that I ranted about the book for about 30 minutes. I was so upset about this book that I really took the time to rant about it for literally 30 minutes, and I just had issues with it too. Like, because I had bought it on Audible. Thankfully, it was with the credits, so I could return it. But I was just really annoyed with this book. So I really, really did rant about this book. And I was just like, this book is horrible. And I was upset. So tell me, did you think I was going to have this reaction to it? Or did you think it was going to be something else entirely? And also, have you read the book? What were your thoughts on it? I'm genuinely very curious as to know, what did you think of this book? Because I was definitely impressed. To be completely honest, I was very impressed, and I want to read the third book that she has, which is called The Long Game. It's currently on hold in my library, and I will be reading it. And I would like to see how she does it. This one has to do with sports, which has become, from what I'm seeing, has become popular in romance. I know that hockey romance is a thing, but it looks like generally sports romance might also be a thing that's becoming popular, at least in book talk. So I do look forward to reading it, along with other books I'm going to be reading and that I'm going to be sharing with you in these lovely Fridays. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. In the meantime, though, thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing to my channel if you've enjoyed the content. If you'd like to see more content from me, check out my blog, website in the description, and also consider checking out my book if you would like to support me. Available in Apple, Barnes & Noble, and a bunch of other retailers. It is called Daughter of Death. And you can also find it's available in ebook and audiobook formats, and you can also find it in my shop, which is linked below. Support me on Ko-fi if you like what I do here and you would like to support me and my future projects. I would really appreciate it. And with that, though, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and consume stories. Bye!